So today I want to talk a little bit about resolution and why I don't think it's the most important factor in a cinematic image. These days, pretty much every camera can shoot 4K. We've got 4K on our iPhones, 4K on GoPros, on drones, but that does not make them a Red or an Arri Alexa. Why is that? So we all used to have Blu-rays and DVDs at home, and they were like 1080p, and if you were lucky towards the end, you get 4K Blu-rays, and they were fantastic. You could have like 50 gigs worth of data on those, and the picture quality was insane. It was like comparable to what you might see in a cinema. Nowadays, we all have digital downloads and we watch our films through streaming, and they might be 5-6 gig if you're lucky. And if you look at those closely, you'll see, particularly in the darker scenes, that you get nasty, blocky compression artifacts, and the picture quality just isn't as good. And I personally really regret not having all of my discs anymore, because I don't think that they're going to hold up in a few years' time when I come to look at them again. If you go to a cinema, a lot of films until very recently were actually shot at 2K, and cinemas would quite cheekily say that they were projecting them in 4K. How do I know this? Because I've worked on quite a few films that were shot at 2K, and I know that the whole film was mastered at 2K, and then they did a 4K version of it where they literally just upscale everything, and it looks great in the cinema. But if you know you're not going to pay extra for those tickets to see it on a bigger screen, because you're just wasting your money to see it blown up. Depending on where you sit in the cinema, you're not necessarily going to notice whether it's 2K, 4K or whatever resolution. If you sit at the front, it's always going to look soft, and if you sit at the back, you can't perceive all of the resolution that's available because it all just becomes one big picture. So you have to be sitting in the optimum position in a cinema, and even then it all depends on the size of the screen to the amount of resolution that you can actually perceive. So I personally will quite happily go and sit in the middle of a small cinema and enjoy it and find that the experience is very similar to a really large screen. These days, every camera can shoot 4K. This is fantastic. It's amazing to have that resolution, and I definitely don't want to go back to lower resolutions. That said though, I don't think that anybody is seriously saying that 4K GoPro footage is comparable to Arri Alexa footage. And why is that? I think the main thing is dynamic range. Being able to pull down the highlights on a bright sunny day and bring up the shadows in a really dark scene so that you can see everything, all the details there larger than life. And you just can't do that on any old camera. Now we're very lucky these days with cameras like the Blackmagics and Sony A7S and so on. These cameras can do all of this stuff, which is just fantastic, you know. We do get fixated on high resolution imagery, and I don't think we should. So there you have it. That's why I don't think resolution is that important, and you should focus instead on dynamic range. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.